Head of WWE Elimination Chamber in Toronto, Canada, WWE superstars Sami Zayn, Roxanne Perez, Bianca Belair, and Drew McIntyre spoke to the media about their upcoming matches on the show. Here are the top highlights. Kicking things off with Sami Zayn, who spoke about his feud with Kevin Owens, his upcoming 23rd wrestling anniversary, and how politics and WWE storytelling have changed over time.
Our next question comes from Jan Murphy. Jan?
Hey, Sammy, how are you?
Not too bad.
Good. Coming into Toronto, there's a weird dynamic happening right now between Canada and the US with all this tariff stuff. What are you expecting from the WWE crowd, especially the whole Canada US thing this weekend?
I don't think truly that'll factor in to anything with regards to this with the Elimination Chamber. I don't. I think WWE. So this could be a very short answer or a very long answer, and I'll try to kind of split the difference here. But I like to talk about wrestling at length, and I like to talk about wrestling as sort of a reflective art form in the world with regards to history and sociology and how it kind of mirrors societies at the times. So having said that, wrestling's always had sort of a political representation of the zeitgeist of the time, right? So, in the 90s during the Persian Gulf War, obviously we had Sergeant Slaughter with the Iraq stuff. And even prior to that, World War, in the 50s, we had Nazi villains and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Japanese, whoever the villains were in the political climate were reflected in the world of pro wrestling. Now, I think in a strange way, we're doing a sort of weird anti-reflection wherein we just simply don't touch politics, as a company. Like, nothing about the political climate is reflected in the product anymore. And I think in some ways that's also a reflection of the society we currently live in and the sensitivity to these things. But I also think it's because I think WWE is meant to be like an escape from all that stuff, especially the more real and the more it's felt on a day-to-day basis for some people. And it's not like an abstract idea when you get into the conversation of tariffs. People are feeling that at the grocery store or, whatever, gas station. They're feeling it day-to-day life, or they will. The potential to feel it is certainly there. So I think you want to go somewhere where you just kind of forget about that stuff altogether. And I think that's what WWE provides now. Where politics has become so into the mainstream and it's almost turned into an entertainment form in its own right, which I have a lot to say about, but I won't get into that. All this to say, WWE, I think, is a place to kind of take that hat off and just enjoy it for what it is. And I think everybody who purchased their tickets to Elimination Chamber is there for a great show. They're not there to think about this stuff. They're not there to boo Americans or cheer Canadians or whatever. I think they're there for the show, and we're going to give them a great show. That's what I think.
I have a question for you, because you mentioned earlier about the 20-year plus history between you and Kevin, and you've been friends, you've been rivals, you've gone through all this incredible history together. But going into this, how challenging do you find it creatively to keep things fresh for the audience, especially in an era where, I hate to say it this way, in 2025, where their attention span is not quite what it once was?
It's been a challenge perpetually. I'd say we felt the pressure very, very early on. I'm talking even in like 2003, 2004. So I remember this moment pretty vividly. I remember this being one of the funny moments that I look back on my career. The very first time we wrestled in America, September 11th, 2004, we wrestled in Philadelphia, the ECW arena. And I remember it was a four-way match, myself, Kevin, a gentleman named Access, and a guy named Sexy Eddie. Sexy Eddie was the star of the match going into this because he had done this crazy match in front of the CZW fans a month or two prior. So this was his big return with the other Canadian guys that were unknown to this audience at the time. Or maybe they'd heard our names, but they didn't really know our body of work. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I remember when we were constructing the match and there was this panic and, time crunch and all this kind of stuff, just like as there is all these years later, and nitpicking to make the details perfect and all this stuff that we're still guilty of all these years later. I remember having no choice because it was time to go out. And I remember just saying out loud, but we're not doing anything new. But I didn't really realize at the time they'd never seen any of the stuff that we were doing. So I already felt this pressure, like, we need to change everything. Not realizing that the only people who had seen it all were me and him, and nobody was seeing the stuff we were doing in little Montreal community centers or elementary schools or wherever we were wrestling. So this was new to that audience. And the reason I bring this up is just, again, to tell you how early on I felt the pressure to kind of reinvent things and change things and keep them a little different, even at the smallest level imaginable. So that pressure was felt that early on. And we've been fortunate enough in our careers to get a little bit of distance to where anytime it comes back, it feels special or renewed. And I think that's really been the key to it, is a way to always renew it. And look, you're always going to get a handful of people who go like, well, I've already seen this match. Well, you've already seen a movie. But, this iteration with this story is going to change the variables, and it changes the story and it changes the action. So, so all this to say, yeah, I feel a lot of pressure personally and professionally to make it feel new and fresh and exciting. But the fact that this match got announced and everybody got excited, and now I think there's a lot of anticipation to see this match at the Sky Dome at one of the biggest PLEs of the year, I just think it's a testament to the, that's us reaping the rewards of that. What's the word I'm looking for here? That investment and that diligence in trying to maintain its freshness. We're seeing that it still works, and I'm very, very happy and very, very proud of that. It kind of feels like a Canadian WrestleMania, really. WrestleMania is hard to come by. There's a million cities now. It's become such an event that cities are actually vying for it. I have no doubt it'll end up coming to Toronto within the next 5-10 years. Toronto is a great market. But this kind of feels like WrestleMania. It really does. And especially with this match with Kevin, I touched upon this answering some of the other questions, but it's just our history and the history of shows at that stadium in particular, like WrestleMania X8, like those first episodes of Monday Night Raw from the Sky Dome were such a big deal to any Canadian watching on TSN at that time in '99. I just remember that so vividly. And actually, here's a fun fact. March 1st is my wrestling anniversary, so it'll be 23 years to the day for my first match. So it kind of makes me even more reflective, because I'm like, wow, who would have thought? I never would have thought 23 years ago, having my first match, hey, in 23 years, it'll be you and that guy in the Sky Dome, as one of the big premier matches. And a match that personally I think will probably end up stealing the show. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. It really, it's a combination of excitement and that WrestleMania feeling, but also a lot of personal reflection. It's an emotional one. So I plan on making it a really, really good one. I think, we have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on ourselves to outdo ourselves, and we've had some pretty great matches in our history, and some crazy matches. And I think this one's going to have to live up to a lot of that. So I think we're going to try to outdo ourselves. And, if history's any indication, I think we'll succeed.
Up next, we have Roxanne Perez, who spoke about being in her first ever Elimination Chamber match and being eliminated by Charlotte Flair in the Royal Rumble. Roxanne, I do have one more question for you, and that is, I wanted to get your thoughts, and of course, being the final two with Charlotte Flair in the Royal Rumble. Kind of talk to us about your reaction when you found out you would be in the Royal Rumble again. You've been in it multiple times, but also, making it all the way to the end, and what those last couple minutes in the match felt like, and also how you came out feeling from it, because that was such a big spot to be in. Thank you.
Yeah. So I found out that I was going to be in the Rumble probably the Wednesday before. So I didn't really expect it. I thought, oh, maybe not this year, which is okay. I still got years and years to go. But they called me, and when I found out that I was going to be the final two, I was just shocked. I thought it was oh my God, the biggest opportunity that I've ever gotten so far. And I remember the last six, it was me, Nikki Bella, Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, Bailey. And I was like, wow, I belong here. This is what I've been working for, to be in the ring with all of these women. And I had a flashback when I was on the floor after Charlotte eliminated me. And the first ever Royal Rumble that I went to was I was an extra, and Charlotte Flair won that match. And I was sitting in the very top of the suites watching her win, and then this year I was unfortunately was sitting on the floor watching her win, but it was just a really full circle moment. And yeah, I just feel like everything is just happening exactly the way it's supposed to be happening.
Awesome. Congratulations, Roxanne.
Thank you.
Then Bianca Belair took the floor and spoke about multiple topics, including the dream match with Rhea Ripley, whether or not she would turn heel, and wanting to wrestle Jordynne Grace.
You know, there's so many different things that you want to do at one time. How do you balance everything where you have these goals for the tag team titles, but you also have these singles goals as well?
I feel like that's kind of just the story of my career. Like, I feel like I've been able to accomplish a whole lot in a short amount of time. And ever since I've hit the scene, I've been running, and I haven't stopped ever since. So I'm kind of used to having a lot going on, and I'm someone who likes to achieve as much as I possibly can. So while I am the tag team champion right now, and I would love to go to WrestleMania and defend those tag team titles, I would equally just as much love to win Elimination Chamber and go against Rhea Ripley. And that's always been a dream match of mine. And I feel like it's a dream match for fans as well. But to be able to go and possibly, have another title opportunity and remain undefeated at WrestleMania and be someone that can take down Rhea Ripley, who wouldn't want to do that? I feel like we both have kind of been on opposite sides of the mountain, racing our way to the top. And right now, she has that title. So the perception is that she's the best. And my reality is that I'm the best. So I want to go to WrestleMania and I want to prove that. So I'm going to do everything that I can in this Elimination Chamber to make sure that I can, point to that WrestleMania sign, solidify my path to WrestleMania and go and face Rhea Ripley and at the same time, hopefully get to go and defend our tag team titles alongside Naomi.
About a year ago, we heard you talk about like the way that you would want to be a heel if possible. We had heard that some ideas that had been thrown your way. And I believe it was Lashley said, she's an inspiration to a lot of people. It's got to be something very substantial or important for her to do something like that. And we've seen like your entrances that integrate a lot of that, your inspiration to many children. How are you feeling present day about the possibilities of playing that role?
I feel like I never say never, but what I will say that it would have to be something that's very, like you said, substantial and a bigger picture to it. Just because I feel like being a baby face and a successful baby face, and a baby face that's consistently able to keep their name in the top of the conversation, that's very hard to get. And once you get it, you really don't want to let go of that. And I feel like the longer you can hold on to that, if that heel turn happens, the bigger that heel turn will be. What I will say is that if that does happen, it's I want to be the heel that people would not like. And I don't know if everybody's, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if everybody else is ready for that. It's one thing when I hear fans say, I love so-and-so as a heel. When I hear love and heel in the same sentence, that doesn't work for me. And I feel like it's like someone like Nia Jax, how valuable she is to this division, playing that role. We need that. And so we'll just see what happens. We'll see where it goes. But right now, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if the fans are ready for that. But when it happens, I feel like it's going to be something big if it ever happens. Who knows? I think Jordynne is a great addition to the roster. Like I said, I feel like we have the best women's roster in the world. So to have her a part of it, that's just going to add even more value to it. We saw where she came into the Royal Rumble last year, and she, made a wave there and had the internet rocking. She came this year, she showed out even more, and now she's officially signed with the WWE. So it's great. I think she's great in the ring. She has the presence, she has the aura about her, she has her body's freaking amazing. She's picking up Piper with ease in the ring. So she's going to be a force to reckon with, but I love it. I think that's how our division continues to evolve and be the best division in the world, is that we just keep adding people like Jordan Grace to it. And I feel like she's just getting started. And we've been able to interact a little bit in the Royal Rumble in spoon feed. And I can't wait till we can actually get in the ring and really create magic together. I think that's like a dream match of mine that I would love to have.
And last but not least, we have Drew McIntyre, who spoke about the Elimination Chamber, how he's not a troll, and more.
Just quick question about this specific match. There's that old saying, horses for courses. Do you feel as though this is one of those that sort of brings out the best in your abilities?
Yeah, I mean, something that should bring out the best in everyone's ability in the match. If you look across the whole board, as a who's who of top superstars, current, and I guess with Cena his last run, and I'd like to imagine with all that's going on in Toronto, we've got a chance to interact with each other, and so many of us have such interesting pasts, and we get those microphones in our hands. So I know there's a kickoff show. I don't know who's involved in it. I've been involved in the past few. I'd like to think I'll be there, which leads into SmackDown, which obviously leads into the Chamber. So aside the in-ring aspect, where everyone's going to be bringing their A+ game to ensure they stand out among such top names and top in-ring performers, I hope that mic. And that's something I heard. Drew, he looks the part. My God, walk down the street, everyone's head turns. In the ring, incredible athlete. But then the microphone skills are not quite up to par, and it drove me insane because I knew what I was capable of, especially from independent run. Not a lot of people had seen that, and I'd always been myself as close as I could be within the confines of the character. And then finally, just the way things have been the past couple of years, and the reins taken off just a little bit, and let the horse run free under Triple H, leading creative. I've been able to show what I could truly do. And last year, I was very fortunate. I say fortunate, I am grateful, but also I know I was the freaking best last year. That's why I won all the promo awards, the talking awards. Doesn't matter if I was in the ring with a Punk or a Seth, and I want that damn John Cena one. I want him right in front of me, and I want to tear him to shreds, and for people to go, my God, like Drew's on that level. It's finally time to give him the ball. Let's stop dropping it, put it in his hands, because not anyone he can't stand the ring with physically, and everybody go, my God, that guy should be kicking everyone's ass. Or on the microphone, my God, he shreds everybody. Why the hell is he not on top?
Hello, Drew. Hope all is well. Now I got to ask, now heading into another chamber, you already won 2. What is your mindset going into this with especially CM Punk in the mix, John Cena, Seth Rollins? Like, what is your mindset going into this?
Win. That's what I know how to do in that chamber, is win. I won it last year, which set me up to go to WrestleMania. I took out Punk at the Rumble. I went to Chamber. I beat a who's who of superstars, earned the title shot against Seth Rollins, beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. I owe Punk one. He was claiming credit for beating me inside Hell in the Cell. Much as I don't like it, I know how things turned out in the end. Plus, with the greatest rivalry of the past decade, it's amazing when you have true hatred for each other, how much it benefits the fans, how far you're willing to go in those matches. And I was willing to go a little too far, and it wasn't him that beat me in the end after that decade and career-defining feud for both of us. It was blood loss that defeated me. So we're back inside the chamber. I owe him one, but I'm not focused on him. My mindset before was get him for personal reasons, but also get him because I'm worried what he's going to do to the company the way he was in the past. And when I was around him growing up, the way that I heard from friends, he still is these days. As much as he likes to hide it, he's good at hiding it these days. Eventually he'll crack, show his true colors, affect the company, and I won't care because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I have a new mindset since I returned from my injury after Hell in the Cell. I'm in this for myself. I'm in this for my family. It was for the fans before, but the reality is when I'm gone, like I saw when I was gone after Hell in the Cell, they move on. We're 52 weeks a year. It doesn't matter if you're The Rock or Stone Cold. Triple H, when he's on screen, if you're not directly in front of them, they move on so quick, and I will not have any freaking regrets. So I'm getting into this match to take out Punk. Yes, but bigger picture, I'm winning that match. I'm getting my title match against Cody. I'm getting my moment at WrestleMania, and I'm having that title and holding it and walking out in front of fans for the first time with the title for a prolonged period. The last time I got it, obviously Punk screwed me over. Then Priest capitalized like a freaking snake. So I'm getting that run, and it's not because I imagined it that way as a kid. I did. It's for me. It's for my family, and I don't care if anyone else likes it. If they do, cool. They're with me through my struggle, but they're going to deal with it and they're going to like it because Drew McIntyre is simply the best right now.
Hey, Drew, you've been known for getting pretty outspoken on social media, and we've actually seen LA Knight sort of give it back to you a little bit on screen. How do you approach situations like that? Doesn't seem like you really get hurt by words, but have you been approached by anybody backstage that maybe have been hurt by some of your words?
No, they go to management and cry. And then I laugh and say, what are they going to do about it? Tell them to beat me up, but they can't. You got to have some thick skin in this game. Like, it drives me crazy, people with thin skin. That's the one thing I'll give Punk credit. He's got some thick skin when it comes to the words, and then he, gives it what he can in the ring. He's very lucky, defeated me through blood loss in the match. But come on, this is what it's all about. We're in a new world today. It's not just can you get it done in the ring, can you get it done in the microphone, where perhaps it's a little more controlled. I can be a little more free these days, but you can't stop me in social media. Nobody can go toe-to-toe with me online, on the mic, or in the ring. I'm a complete package. And to cap it all off, I'm not your average. People like to say I'm a troll. Priest makes his little comments on TV. I've heard Seth make some comments on TV about the troll or whatever. I'm not a troll. I'm not your average troll. I'll rip you apart on social media. And then you think of somebody who's like sniveling behind the keyboard in their mother's basement. That ain't Drew McIntyre. I'll tear you to pieces online. And I step behind the keyboard. You're like, oh my God, he's going to kick my ass too. And I do kick your ass. You're lucky I'm married, or I'd take your girl too. That's the kind of troll I am. No one can freaking stop me.
Hey, Drew, thanks for the time this morning. You mentioned it earlier. There's a lot of people in there that you've got personal issues with, whether it be Damian Priest, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins. How do you separate those personal issues from the professional issue of going in, winning the chamber, and eventually facing Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania?
You have to. I mean, if you get a few extra digs in there, a few stiff shots, then good. But you have to focus on the bigger picture. You have to focus on the story that's being told. And as we found with the Punk situation, the deeper the hatred, the better the performance and the happier the fans. And perhaps, I'm not somebody that gets therapy. I have no issues with people that do, if that's what helps them. It helps you work out some of your issues to make you a better person, a happier person. My therapy is on TV, on social media. You can literally see me working out things in my life on television. And sometimes it's through words. Sometimes it's through conversations like this. And sometimes it's through just kicking somebody's ass. And that's my version of therapy. And I've got my eye on the prize. Whatever personal issues are there, cool. I'll take it out in the ring, and I'll focus on getting to WrestleMania, getting my moment, and keeping that freaking title.
Thank you so much for watching the latest. As always, do not forget to slap that like button on this video, and also make sure to subscribe to F4W Online for plenty more pro wrestling content.